So I'm guessing the theme this year for romantic comedies is going to be odd couples because so far we've gotten Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, we've gotten Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we got a trailer for a J.K. Simmons and Kaylee Cuoco romantic comedy at some point this year. You guys get what I'm trying to say. I mean, that is a very odd couple, but you guys get what I'm trying to say here. The Lost City. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and this is my review of The Lost City starring Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock, Daniel Radcliffe, and Brad Pitt. And our plot takes place where Sandra Bullock plays a sexual fantasy writer, and she's in a drought, and she's essentially trying to figure out, what she's going to do next. And then she also all of a sudden gets kidnapped by Daniel Radcliffe, who needs her to help him find this lost city that she wrote about. But essentially, like I said, she's a sex novelist, so she really doesn't know much about it, but she's already been kidnapped. Daniel Radcliffe needs her help, and Channing Tatum and Brad Pitt try to do what they can to save her. Look, I gotta be honest, guys. It's a good movie. It is a good movie. I'm not gonna make it sound that way because I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as I wanted to or as much as I thought. Essentially, I walked in, with a high expectation, not a high expectation, but a decent one because I haven't seen Channing Tatum in a movie in so long. I saw him in Free Guy, and that was refreshing just because I love Channing Tatum. I haven't seen him in much. I have not seen him in Dog. I'm not a big fan of animals. Sorry for my animal lovers out there, but I'm not a big fan of animals, so there was no way I was going to see that, but I did hear it got good reviews. So if you've seen Dog, let me know how it was. I'm also a big fan of Sandra Bullock. I love Ocean's 8, Miss Congeniality. Never saw Bird Box, gotta be honest. I didn't want to jump on that hype train. I was good with The Quiet Place, but I love these two actors, and essentially my problem started, and I know I usually start with, what I liked about the movie, but I'll get to that in a second. Essentially, what I just didn't like about the movie, or what didn't work for me, was Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock's, chemistry, or them trying to be a couple, or on their way as the movie's progressing, they're progressing into this couple. For me, that just didn't work. I didn't necessarily think Channing Tatum, and it's not even a believable standpoint. Like, could I believe that these two would ever be together? Not even the fact that, honestly, these two are just not believable together, because essentially they could be together. But just like Marry Me, the difference between Marry Me and this movie was the fact that, Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez, they actually worked well together. Like, it was odd. It was an odd romance, but at least, you watched it and you could get a sense of it was real. Essentially, like I said, the scenario in that movie, the entire plot is so absurd, but them two made it work. This time around, it's a good plot. It's decent setup. Those two just for me did not work. Essentially, I just couldn't believe that they'd be a couple together. It did the same thing that Marry Me did. They tried to make these two already separated characters into into polar opposites. They tried to make Sandra Bullock like asexual in the movie. Like, she's not even attracted to, the penis. She's attracted to the mind. And it's like, well, who's gonna be together with that? Why would Channing Tatum ever do that? But I digress. That may be me just picking into the movie, but I just couldn't get into the chemistry they were trying to set up between Bullock and Tatum. Another thing in the movie that kind of just got worn out for me, or just got old by the time we got to the end of the movie, was Daniel Radcliffe's character. Look, I love Daniel Radcliffe. I love everybody who was in this movie as far as the main characters go. I love all of them, and I think they're great actors. I just thought that Daniel Radcliffe was definitely having fun with this role in the beginning, but then, of course, he had to turn himself into the end of this wacky villain, this cartoonish type character that, essentially he just lost me completely. Like I said, in the beginning when he was first introduced and he was doing this thing with Bullock and he kidnapped her and all that good stuff, he was having fun. You could tell that everybody was having fun on set. He was having a good time as the role. But like I said, as the movie went on, I just got tired of him. Like, he just became more and more cartoonish. He started to get more and more away from the character he was trying to be and just try to turn himself into somebody completely different. So for me, it just didn't work out. I just didn't think that was good. All right, so this is the last thing I'm going to pick on before I go to, what I liked about the movie and the positives. The last thing, while I was watching this movie, every side character that they had, every side character that they had to add to the plot or add to the comedy, I couldn't help but think every time I was watching these side characters do whatever they were doing on screen, I couldn't help but think that somebody else could have replaced them and just made this movie that much better. Like and I apologize to the actors that because I don't know their names and I don't want to use specific examples because I don't necessarily know everybody's name, but I just know that some characters could have been replaced by others. Oscar from The Office is in this movie. He's okay. I don't, like for some reason go through Oscar's. I don't know his name either, but I'm just gonna call him Oscar from The Office. Go through Oscar's his. I was about to say discography, but go through his entire resume of movies and just see the characters that he's played aside from Oscar. They're always these wacky, crazy, international characters just with an accent that makes no sense at all. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, but he was good. He was good in the movie. But like I said, all the other side characters, I couldn't help but think like somebody else could have just did a much better job. Not me. Not saying I could have did a better job, but I just couldn't help but think that somebody else in the movie could have just made it a lot better if we would have got a better person to play these characters. I don't know. I just felt like the movie was very lazy on some efforts. Like it was in the beginning they had you. It was very entertaining. They set up a very good dynamic between Brad Pitt, Bullock, and Tatum, and I'll get to that in a second. I won't go into full spoilers, but I am going to get into that as part of what I liked about the movie. But I just felt like when we got to a certain point in the movie, it's like maybe like 45 minutes into the midway point of the movie, I felt like once we got there, it started to just kind of not lose itself because it's self-aware. It knows what type of movie it wants to be. It knows what type of movie it is. It's just like the characters wanted it to be something else, and so everybody's just trying to make this movie different things. Not necessarily Bullock and Tatum. The people who are trying to make it different is Radcliffe and all the other side characters who are a part of this movie. It's just they're trying to make it something that it's not. And now, but I'm going to get on to the stuff that I like. All right, so as far as what I liked about the movie, it was easily Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt knocked this movie out of the park. Granted, he's not in the movie that long, so some minor spoiler warning. He's not in the movie very long. It's actually very disappointing to see that he wasn't in the movie that long because when he was on screen, I felt like everything was working. The movie was doing nothing but progressing upward, and then once he was gone, it started to do that downward spiral. But I mean, like I said, he killed it. He knocked it out of the park. And honestly, what I thought this movie was going to be once Pitt's character was introduced, I thought it was going to be a banter between him and Tatum trying to compete for Sandra Bullock's affections. I felt like that would have been a way better movie than the movie I saw. But I mean, that's the movie we got is the movie we got. And Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum, they were very entertaining throughout their entire parts, the part that they worked together, and then Sandra Bullock and Brad Pitt. I just felt that Brad Pitt brought an element to the movie that needed to be there, and the directors just completely just tossed him to the side after, like just felt like he wasn't needed. But no, I felt like that character was needed through the entire movie. He added a whole other dynamic that just needed to be there, and I just felt like I would have had a much better time if he was in the movie thoroughly. Now, to my overall analysis of the movie, like I said, I didn't necessarily enjoy this movie, but I could understand why other people would, because it honestly is an entertaining movie. It is a good time. Just for me, I got to be a critic. I got to be a hard ass on it, and a lot of stuff just didn't work for me. As far as when I go to a movie and I see something as far as romantic comedy, like I need the couple to work. I have to believe in the couple, or I at least have to be invested into the couple for me to be invested in the movie. I wasn't invested in the couple. Separately, I love Channing Tatum, I love Sandra Bullock, and they were good in their roles. I'm not saying at all they did a bad job. They were good in their roles. It's just when the couple stuff started to happen and they had to do stuff together, it just wasn't the best. It wasn't done very well. Like I said, Radcliffe, his character just tired me out. Essentially, he will be very entertaining. He's kind of like Radcliffe kind of tried to do the same thing he did in Now You See Me, like the same thing he did with that villain, but essentially he went a little bit more over the top with this one. Like I said, at the end, in the very beginning, he's having a great time, he's entertaining, and he has a very snarky little villainous sense about him. But once we get to the end, he wants to turn into a cartoon character, essentially almost a Dr. Doofenshmirtz-esque character. Like he becomes very wacky, and I just wasn't feeling that at all. But overall, I could understand why somebody would like this movie, and I can understand why people would have a good time. It's meant for you to have a good time, and if you believe in the Channing Tatum and Bullock dynamic, you're good. You're gonna have a good time in this movie. Brad Pitt, I think we're all going to be disappointed he wasn't in the movie longer. I think everybody's going to walk out with that same reaction just because he needed to be in the movie a lot longer, but it is what it is. And guys, so I'm going to go ahead and give Lost City a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it was a good movie. 2.5 out of 5. Don't be too hard on that. I'm going to dive into a rankings thing later where I break down, the 1 through the 5 stars and all that good stuff. 2.5 is pretty average. It's a very average movie. It's pretty good. It made me laugh a few times. More so when Brad Pitt was in the movie, and I was pretty much a little disappointed after that, but I still overall had a pretty good time at the movies. Like I said, it's an average movie. I had a pretty good time. I had a good audience with me, and I can tell other people were, having a great time as well. So that's why I'm like, this movie isn't that bad. I just didn't enjoy it. But I know for a fact when I watch a movie and other people are enjoying it, I can go, okay, this wasn't for me, but I know it can be for other people. So this is one of those movies. Essentially, if I watch a bad movie like Venom or Moonfall, and I just know it sucks and you like it, I mean, I'm not going to hate on you, but I'm not going to understand why you liked it. But this movie, I can definitely understand where people are coming from, and that's my rating. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Be sure to like, subscribe in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. More content coming soon. This is your guy in the chair signing off. I'm out.